Click go live. I think I'm now live. Hello, it's been a while since I did one of these. The reason I'm doing one is pretty simple. We've had about as much news as you could shake a stick at. We've had literally, I took one day off and then literally tidal waves of stuff has come in over the past couple of days prior to the Giggle. Obviously, I'm trying to wrap myself up for the Giggle to start, prepare myself for all the videos I'll inevitably be making on the Giggle when it comes out this Saturday. I'm incredibly excited. But yeah, a ton of stuff's been sort of coming out, including new quotes from DWM, which I actually have behind me alongside the new Radio Times. We've got brand new clips of the Giggle, as well as the announcement of a Toymaker, Celestial Toymaker animation, which has been something that's been long speculated about. There's been a absolute ton of stuff, and I want to get right into it. We've got interviews with people. I'll be straight up, I'll probably miss bits. There's probably going to be some stuff that I miss. Greetings, Aries. Hello! Oh my god, we've got 84 views already. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Yeah, so the goal of this is just to kind of, go over all the news that I've missed. Also, as these streams always know, I think you've got to be subscribed for at least 5 minutes to use the chat, I think, just to prevent bots. And yeah, also, if you subscribe or super chat, your name will come up somewhere on the screen, and there will be like a message to say if you super chatted or if you subscribed or whatever. So yeah, just getting that out of the way because I've not done one of these in a while. And yeah, let's get right into it. So the first thing I wanted to cover, now this is actually interesting for a couple of reasons. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to play the whole clip because I'll definitely get claimed. But we had this clip posted by the Doctor YouTube channel called Dancing with the Toymaker, which is a preview clip for the Giggle. What's interesting about this is this clip was actually posted earlier on by the YouTube channel, but was taken down. And the reason for that, because the only difference I can see is that the opening credits, there was a part of this where you could see the credits of the directors and a few other people, like the executive producers and stuff, which normally only happens in like the very opening of the scene. And I think it might be exclusive to the Disney Plus version as well. So this is an indication to me that what we're seeing here, if you've seen the clip, is likely our very first scene of the Giggle, which is why the initial version that was released via the YouTube channel had the opening sort of credits on it. And yeah, so basically the entire sort of point of this scene is you can see there's absolute chaos going on. This is back with that Bristol filming, I believe, all the way back last year. Can you believe it's been that long since the Bristol filming? I can't. I remember covering that like it was yesterday. Absolutely insane stuff. So yeah, we got David Tennant here, and essentially the whole thesis of this clip is that everyone in the world seems to think that they're right. Whatever the Toymaker's done via his scheme, it seems to make everyone believe that they're right. So we've got this scene of a man sort of running into the road, being like, I own the roads, I should be able to go on them whenever I like, even though there's cars here and I'll get run over. And the Doctor's like, oh, you could just not. And then we get some shots of the Toymaker mysteriously dancing in the background. At this point, he doesn't know who the Toymaker is. And then, of course, we get the scene of them briefly dancing, which Tennant, the Doctor, doesn't pay too much mind to. He's sort of just confused at all the chaos. In this scene specifically, Neil Patrick Harris's Toymaker is doing a French accent as opposed to the German accent we've heard in earlier stuff. So I'd assume maybe every different Toymaker persona has a different voice of sorts, hence why this one is French. So that's very interesting. So yeah, we see the brief scene of them dancing together. The Doctor gets distracted, runs back to Donna and Wilf. So the way they handle Wilf in this clip is interesting because it's not actually Bernard Cribbins in that chair. Obviously, as we know, he passed away. So what they've done is they've got a stunt double in the chair, and then with this scene, which is the upcoming scene, the Doctor gets surrounded by Unit. He says, "You are under Unit." Unit says, "You are under Unit control." Unit takes them away from the chaos, and Donna requests that they get Wilf to safety. And then we get an archive soundbite from what I think is the Poison Sky of Wilf saying, "Get Donna to safety," and you can see just here, it obviously, if you look very closely, it's a very different face to Bernard Cribbins there. So yeah, it's obviously a shame that that's all we could get of Bernard Cribbins due to his like very unfortunate passing. But I'm glad that we got what we got. And I'm glad that they're dealing with it in probably what is probably the best way possible. And then the Toymaker, the Doctor eventually notices the Toymaker at the end of the clip. Very short clip. Like I say, I would play more of it, but I'm worried that the BBC will copyright claim me to oblivion. But yeah, that was a very interesting clip. I'm looking forward to seeing where it progresses from in this episode. Just check the chat now that we've done that. The last episode of Revive 2. Yeah, it's interesting. Russell T Davies said that the Giggle in Doctor Who magazine, because I've read some of it. I've not read the whole thing, I will say, but I've read some of it. He said that the Giggle can be considered the finale to New Doctor Who, as in the new series of Doctor Who. Which kind of makes sense, given it's David Tennant as well, and the Toymaker. It kind of makes sense. Common BBC claim L. Yeah, I literally just I didn't want to play it just in case. It's literally the last episode of New Who before the Whoniverse soft reboot. Yeah, exactly. Which is why some of Russell's recent comments are very, very interesting. And don't worry, we'll get to those. Also, if you're enjoying the stream so far, feel free to like. That would be greatly appreciated. We've got a lot to go over. But first, before we get to the new Toymaker story, let's have a look at an old one. It was recently announced today that the Celestial Toymaker, the very first Toymaker story, and one that is mostly missing, will be getting the animated treatment. This has been speculated for a long, long time, and actually prior to this being announced, I think some people saw a Amazon listing for the Celestial Toymaker before this got officially confirmed. So yeah, it was kind of a given this was happening. What's interesting about this, though, and what's sort of gotten people people are having conflicting opinions on, is the animation style. As you can see, they've gone for a more 3D animation style. I think in some shots it looks quite good, like here I think it looks quite good when it's like the big rooms. I'm not as sure how I feel on certain character models, particularly when it comes to like William Hartnell here and Stephen. But I will still probably pick this up just because I haven't been able to properly watch the Celestial Toymaker, because the only way to watch it is through reconstructions. And to be completely honest with you, I'm not sure I have the patience for reconstructions. I'm a very patient man, but I think reconstructions are a little bit pushing it for me. So I will pick this up. But yeah, it's interesting. I personally don't hate the animation. I mean, we also do see... oh, that's the wrong thing. I haven't got the clip now. That's annoying. Oh, wait, was it in the first page? Yes. We do see like it in movement. I think it looks better in movement than it does static, in fairness. But even then, like, I do see why people have some issues. I do like the more artistic direction in some scenes. But yeah, I'm not an expert on the animation, so I'll let you guys decide what you think. It's definitely one way to go about it. I've seen some people compare it to the Web of Fear animation. Personally, for me, this is significantly better looking than the Web of Fear Part 3 animation was. So I think it's a little bit unfair, but we'll see. You know, it's early days yet. I don't think they've released a time frame for when this is going to be released. I'm hoping maybe for Christmas. That'd be quite nice. But we'll see. It's very clever to release this or announce this with the Giggle coming up. That's very smart. I always assume they'd do something like that with this release. Yeah, we've got a full write-up here. The Celestial Toymaker will be returning as an animation and will be re-released on DVD and Blu-ray coming soon. The 2-disc set contains the 3rd season story, as well as special features, the classic series of the First Doctor, William Hartnell, companions Peter Purvis as Stephen Taylor and Jackie Lane as Dodo Chapler, with Michael Gough as the Toymaker. Fans of Doctor Who have lamented the loss of the original 1966 master recordings of all except one of the Celestial Toymaker. BBC Studios have carefully created an animated presentation of the lost classic story using off-air audio recordings of the missing episodes. The Celestial Toymaker sees the Doctor and companion separated. They come up against the Toymaker while the Doctor plays the Trilogic game. Stephen and Dodo are forced to play seemingly childish but ultimately dangerous games with the aim of being reunited and getting back to the TARDIS. So yeah, they've got a black and white version. They've got episodes 1 and 3 of the episodes 1 to 3 of the reconstruction. Episode 4 original, 1996 episode newly restored. New episode commentaries. Disc 2 episodes 1 to 4 animation color. So yeah, they'll have like all the options for you as well. Doctor Escape Room Team First Doctor. I don't know what that is. Sylvester McCoy introduction for episode 4 as per the VHS release. Okay, so they've gone quite in depth with this. So yeah, I'll pick it up. I'll be curious to see it. It's very cool that we're getting a Toymaker release. But I do see why some people aren't big fans of the animation. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. And then we're going to get on to what is probably the most bizarre story of the evening, which some of you might have seen I accidentally glimpsed earlier on. Theries in the last special. I wish. The whole soft relaunch is weird. I don't know. I think it makes sense. I mean, given that Disney Plus are involved and it's going to be in a, it's going to be reaching a new audience, I think it does kind of make sense. Just got a random ad in the middle of the stream. Oh, sorry about that. Must be YouTube's auto placements. Apologies. Theries, you talk a lot of crap. Yeah, I do. That's my job, unfortunately, or pretty much. Which is, I don't know what else to tell you. Theries hates animation confirmed. No, not at all. Yeah, so let's get to the most bizarre announcement of the day. The Toymaker dancing is just phenomenal. Yeah, I love that. I love that he's dancing in the chaos as everything unfolds. Absolutely love that. Let's have a look here. So the next thing, the most bizarre thing we've had. Get ready. Oh, hang on, I've not put it on the screen. Get ready to party like a goblin. From the upcoming Doctor Who Christmas special, The Church on Ruby Road, comes the Goblin song, streaming from Monday, 11th of December. So for those of you who were confused, it was confirmed via DWM that the Christmas special would feature a musical number sung by the Goblin villains in the episode. And this is going to be a release of that as a piece of music and a music video on the 11th of December, all the proceeds will go to charity, I think Children in Need. It says here, Doctor Who releases Christmas single, The Goblin Song. Doctor Who returns to screens on Christmas Day, and to celebrate, a fiendishly catchy song from the festive special is being released as a single ahead of the big event. The Goblin Song is an original composition created specifically for the 15th Doctor's festive debut by composer Murray Gold and writer Russell T Davies. The single's music video shares an exclusive content from the eagerly awaited special as the 15th Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, takes his first adventure through time and space in the TARDIS. Stream the Goblin Song from Monday the 11th of December. The track features in Doctor Who's Christmas episode The Church on Ruby Road, where the Doctor's companion Ruby Sunday meets the Doctor, Goblin, stolen babies, and perhaps uncovers the secrets of her birth. As well as meeting Ruby Sunday, Millie Gibson for the first time, the Doctor meets Davina McCall, who plays herself, Michelle Greenidge as Ruby's mum Carla, Angela Whitner as Ruby's grandmother Cherry, and Anita Dalton as Mrs. Flood. The Goblin Song is available on BBC Sounds from Monday the 11th of December, and will also be available via Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer. All proceeds will go to Children in Need. Murray Gold said, I don't like these goblins and you won't either, but they have agreed to donate everything from their song to BBC Children in Need, so let's not give up on them. Charlie Hoyle, Director of Income and Engagement at BBC Children in Need, said, we're delighted to continue our long-standing relationship with Doctor Who. We are so grateful for their support with this Christmas single. Russell T Davies said, we're releasing this as an early present for everyone, and if you want to see how the Doctor and Ruby escape from the Goblin King at the end of the song, you'll have to wait to watch on Christmas Day. So this is very interesting. Yeah, I've seen some kind of conflicting opinions on this. I've seen some people kind of bemoan the idea of a Doctor Who musical sequence. I've seen other people say it'll be fun. Personally, I think it comes down purely to execution for me. If it's executed well, I think it could be fun. If it's not executed well, then there we are. This is an interesting one because it either has the potential to be one of the greatest marketing ploys they could ever do, or if it sounds bad, it could end up being quite infamous. Because obviously this is releasing 2 weeks before Christmas, and people will probably be listening to it quite a bit. And I've seen some people joke, myself included, oh, we need to get this to Christmas #1. And I would be kind of down to do that. I'd be down to try and get it to Christmas #1. I think that'd be very, very funny. But yeah, I'm very curious to see it. As for the single itself, I have absolutely no idea what this is going to sound like. I'm incredibly curious. Yeah, I think releasing it 2 days after the Giggle is definitely an interesting choice. Goblin Song single gonna go hard. Yeah, I just don't know what to expect. Next Monday, yeah, next Monday. It will either be the best thing ever or cringe. There is no in between. Exactly, I completely agree with that. I'm bracking the crackpots for Christmas #1. I haven't listened to any of the new Christmas songs. Are they any good? Dude, the Toymaker's jingle at the end of the new preview is creepy AF. How do you like it? What the I like it a lot. Ian seems to dislike it. I guess he prefers Doctor in Distress. Yeah, seems so, doesn't it? I wouldn't mind being Christmas #1. I think it should be very funny. I mean, it's kind of a good marketing move because it's going to be on the radio all the time because it's a charity single as well. To be honest, I'm so happy to get Christmas specials back. Crystal specials is a different thing. Yeah, me too. I very much am. Be wild if RTD2 ends up being more successful than RTD1. It depends. Like, this is the thing. Like, people will often say, "Oh my god, Doctor Who and the Starbase only got 7.6 million viewers consolidated. That's dreadful." That's actually really good in concurrent climates. But because number looks slightly lower than it did in 2008, that means it gone woke, therefore bad. Which, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. What about I Want to Spend My Christmas with a Dalek? Oof. I think it can't be worse than that, can it? Like, let's not say that's good. Darius, thank you for the Doctor Who coverage. You make me feel less alone in a world of stress. I appreciate your work. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm glad I could help. And I hope you feel better soon. Russell T Davis also confirmed via DDM that one of the Season 1 episodes for Ncuti Gatwa, or Series 14 episodes, is titled The Devil's Cord, which I think got leaked prior. I could be wrong, but I think that got leaked prior. Doctor Who Boss reveals episode title from next series. Doctor Who Christmas Special, The Church on Ruby Road, will air at 5:55 to 6:50 p.m. in the UK. Oh yeah, that also got confirmed. I forgot to say. Like I say, so much is happening. It got confirmed that the Christmas Special Church on Ruby Road will be broadcasting at 5:55 p.m. At the heart of the BBC One Christmas Day schedule, Doctor Unleashed will air on BBC Three at 7 p.m. As the 15th Doctor played by yeah, no, it's basically just saying that it's called The Devil's Cord, and then other stuff we already know. So, yeah, very cool. Now, this is the biggest piece of controversy that Doctor Who magazine has generated in a while. It's been a while since a good old Doctor Who magazine RT Discourse. Ooh, that's catchy. But this is the latest, and it's gotten a lot of Doctor Who fans slightly concerned. Russell T Davis in Doctor Who magazine. There will be controversial events in the Giggle. If you watch the commentary on iPlayer, I unroll a whole new mythology for you based around the events taking place. The commentary will have information that will rock your world. It's a whole new way of looking at the history of Doctor Who, and I can't wait to see the reaction. So, there's a couple of interesting things to this. Let's break down this quote slightly. There will be controversial events in the Giggle. Now, if you've been reading rumours, there's one particular controversial thing that may or may not be happening that I don't want to say in case some people haven't heard it, but chances are, if you're in these streams, you might have done, and people are wondering if that's what it's referring to. If you watch the commentary, I unroll a whole new Doctor Who mythology for you, based around the events taking place. So yeah, this is another interesting thing. Oh, that's the wrong thing. That's my DMs. Whoops. Whoopsie. Yeah, so I unroll a whole new mythology for you that will rock the world. So yeah, the commentary will have information that rocks your world, rather. So the interesting thing with that is the mythology isn't going to be redefined in the episode itself. It's going to be redefined in the commentary. Just the events in the Giggle will be controversial. So I don't think it's a case of Russell T Davis rewriting the entire Time Lord mythology, the Timeless Child. I think it's more a case of he'll probably explain the new lore behind the events going on. One theory I've seen is something that ties into Tales of the TARDIS, which is the idea that when a Doctor regenerates, in some timelines they carry on as that existing face, and that could tie in to some of the leaks that we've seen. If that is the case, I don't think I'd hate that. I'm going to say that now. Not sure whether that's what it is, but I will be incredibly interested to see what this is. He even knows it will be controversial. I just hope that it's not quite as controversial as the Timeless Child, because as TV Zone points out here, Doctor Who viewers, the statement responding to complaints from Doctor Who viewers over the Timeless Children story arc in Series 12, we wholeheartedly support the creative freedom of writers. We appreciate that it's impossible to please all our viewers. So yeah, they had to put, like, way back in 2020, they had to issue a statement saying that, yeah, I know the Timeless Child. We just had a new membership. What was that? Let me double check. Thank you, Cameron Jefferson, for becoming a member for 19 months. Thank you very much. And also welcome Adam to the program. Thank you very much. The commentary that we aren't getting in the US. Yeah, weird, isn't it? Like, I know that you guys aren't getting, like, Unleashed either, which is sad. Yeah, that's the rumor I'm talking about, Romeo. Someone just spamming Dr. Woke. Okay. Oh, thank you, Heretic, for becoming the top chair for 19 months. I think this leak controversy, I think the leak is the controversy it's been 100%. Yeah, I think it probably is. I think it probably is that. Again, I think it's important with this to reserve full judgment until the actual episodes air. I think it's very easy for us to kind of just sort of like judge things immediately before things happen. Timeless Child discourse still going on. Yeah, in some places. I mean, I didn't like it, but I've kind of moved on, you know. Where's your Cyberman head? Good question. It's currently with another YouTuber called The Confused Adipose, who is using it for a fan film. I should have it back next month. Fortnite X Doctor Who collab is expected this December, possibly after the Giggle theories. I believe it was pushed back to January due to the ongoing LEGO collaboration, was the last I heard. Am I about to buy a VPN just to watch this commentary? I know you wouldn't be the only person who's done that. Is the Fortnite crossover still happening? I imagine so, because they got all the details about the LEGO one right. So, and that's happening currently. So I think that probably is accurate. I think. I'm not an expert on that, but I think that is accurate. Also, I might as well cover this here because I think it makes sense in terms of the ordering of things. Doctor Who magazine confirms that David Tennant and Ncuti Gatwa were both present on the same day to film the regeneration scene. And obviously there's a winky face there, which once again hints at the rumours and the leaks and stuff like that. Now, the reason this is notable is that you might think, well, that's obviously the case, but that's actually not always the case. For example, with the transition from Christopher Eccleston to David Tennant, they were filmed on separate days. Same goes for Jodie Whittaker to David Tennant. Both of those ends of the scene were filmed not only on separate days, but in separate places with separate production teams. So, yeah, this is actually a more interesting detail than you'd think. So that's worth pointing out, given all the speculation surrounding a certain potential leak. Casting director Andy Pryor on Ncuti Gatwa. It was just a simple case of giving the best audition and being the right fit in terms of his energy, demeanour, his kind of zest of the role, that kind of energy and that fizz. So yeah, this was just Andy Pryor. He had a really interesting interview with Digital Spy talking about what it takes to cast for Doctor Who and being part of that world. Really, really interesting. I haven't read all of it yet, but from what I read, it's incredibly interesting stuff. And then, yeah, we've got what I went over. Millie Gibson gave an exclusive interview to Total Film. Doctor Who's Millie Gibson says her companion relationship with Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor is unlike anything we've seen on the show before. Exclusive, Millie Gibson teases Ruby's cliquey dynamic with the Doctor. The TARDIS is about to get a team at the controls with Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor zipping about through time and space later this month. At his side, Millie Gibson's Ruby Sunday, the latest in a long line of companions to go adventuring with the Time Lord. Ahead of the Doctor Who Christmas special, Gibson has teased the unique dynamic between the pair, and it sounds worlds away from the relationship he held like previous companions and allies. She is very cool, laughs. I've said this before, but I think her dynamic with the Doctor is very much like two schoolgirls gossiping. They're very cliquey. I think the Doctor's not had that sort of dynamic before. It's really beautiful to see come alive. When you watch it, Gibson says in the News 2024 preview of Total Film, which hits shelves this week. So that's another magazine that Ncuti Gatwa will likely be on the front of. She's a cool chick, you know. I'm not sure how much I can say, but I'm very, very, very excited for people to see her. She's very different to my character in Coronation Street, which was so fun to play, and I love her clothes. I love what she wears, and obviously the episodes where we go back to different eras, which is super fun. But yeah, I don't want to say too much, and nor should she, given the special, which is titled Church on Ruby Road, airs very soon. So, and then yeah, basically she talks about when these things will be out. But yeah, interesting. So yeah, that's not the first time we've heard the quote from Millie Gibson with regards to the dynamic between Ruby Sunday and the Doctor being similar to kind of a gossiping school children kind of dynamic, which I think is interesting. I have seen some people make companions to Can and Rose. I don't think that's the vibe I got from this. I don't think it's going to be romantic, at least I hope not. Sincerely, I'm very over that. Interestingly, there was also a note made in Doctor Who magazine that the first scene in which we meet these characters takes place in a club kind of place, like a bar, and the Doctor's dancing in there. And I believe that was filmed at what was Prism, which is a Cardiff nightclub. I don't know whether it's still there, actually. If any of you live in Cardiff, let me know if it's still there. I'm not actually sure if it is. But they said that that's kind of the first scene where they meet, which is very interesting. Yeah, so we'll see what their dynamic is like. I'm certainly looking forward to it. They certainly look like they have great chemistry together. So I am confident that we will enjoy their dynamic. What are you guys saying? Apparently it's near the end of the server. Oh, okay, is it? Without spoiling the leak on camera theories, do you like the sound of the details of the leak or not? I think it depends on execution. I think when I first heard about it, I was a lot more cautious. Having heard rumours of how they're going to handle it and more context regards to it, I'm less uncertain about it. But I do think it'll probably be controversial. Oh, that's interesting. Ncuti seems like a very cheery Doctor who would enjoy dancing from what we've seen so far. Ncuti hasn't taken the keys to the TARDIS on screen yet, and he's already growing on me. Yeah, I'm very excited to see him. Who do you think the boss is? My theory is it's either the Rani or Neris. Honestly, I don't know. I was planning on doing a video about that when the Star Beast aired, but so much else happened since that I kind of missed my time on that. Maybe I'll do it in the new year at some point. I still plan on doing that. The boss might be the big computer John Pertwee thought. Yeah, could be. Let me have a look here. What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, so there's also a quote from Ncuti Gatwa from Doctor Who magazine talking about Millie Gibson, his co-star, which we can read as well. When Millie Gibson came into that room, I just thought, oh, me and you would have gotten so much trouble at school. Ncuti shares his first impressions of co-star Millie Gibson in this month's Doctor Who magazine. What did Ncuti Gatwa think of his new companion? The new Doctor shares his first impressions of co-star Millie Gibson in an exclusive interview with Doctor Who magazine. Ncuti Gatwa debuts as the new Doctor on the cover of this month's DWM, and in an in-depth interview discusses meeting his co-star Millie, playing the Doctor's new companion Ruby Sunday. Read on for an exclusive excerpt from the interview. Love that little troublemaker, says new Doctor Ncuti Gatwa when DWM asks him about Millie Gibson, who plays his companion Ruby. When Millie first came into the room, I just thought, oh, me and you would have gotten so much trouble at school. We would have been in detention every day. We would have given teachers hell. He burst out laughing. And I love that. That's perfect for the Doctor. This mad scientist that loves adventures, getting themselves into scrapes, and loves walking into situations where they absolutely have no idea what's going on, but they are going to try and fix it. I felt that I needed someone that had the same sort of slightly tapped, slightly crazy energy. I loved the image of two troublemakers, two people that can't help themselves but get into trouble. That I got from Millie Gibson. I was like, that's it right there. We're going to get into trouble together. and it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for the world to meet Ruby this Christmas. And then, yeah, Shooty Getter is the Doctor, issue 598. It's a very good issue. Again, I haven't read through all of it. There's been some lovely stuff so far, including, yeah, that whole interview with Shooty Getter. There's an interview which I haven't read all of, which is a tribute to Bernard Cribbins, which is lovely. All that and more in this month's DVM, so I would highly recommend picking that up. Ugh. Varies a random question, but are there any villains, companions you would like to see return in Shooty's era? Companion-wise, I find that an easy question to answer. I'd love to see Martha Jones make a comeback. I think that would make total sense, especially because I think there's some really interesting conversations to be had there with a Doctor later on from 10 kind of reflecting on how he didn't quite treat Martha's concerns with like the same amount of sincerity. T-Dog, will EV get the throw out of here? EV, I'm not sure what that is, hold on. 15 is going to be a cosplayer's dream. He already is. I mean, the bank accounts of cosplayers won't be so happy, but certainly, yes, he is very much a cosplayer's Doctor. They even mention that in his interview. They say that Shooty Gatwa remarks that he loves cosplay, and I think, was it him or Russell? I can't remember which. And they kind of said how, like, oh, if you have an old duffel coat and some trainers, you can dress up as the Doctor, which is really nice. You know what? That's not too bad. I feel like there's stuff that I've missed. I'm just trying to find. There's some other stuff I wanted to cover. Yeah, it was also said, I believe, in SFX that the title sequence will be marginally changed for Shooty Gatwa as well, which I think is very interesting. Not hugely, but mildly tweaked, he said, which I think is interesting. I wonder if the colours will change, or maybe Shooty's face will be in it. That'd be nice. I feel like I'm missing some stuff. If anyone thinks I've missed something, feel free to let me know. It looks like 15 dresses for the time period. Yeah, he seems to have the most varied wardrobe of a Doctor in a while. It's got very warm in here all of a sudden. Excited to see what Ruby's story will be. Me too. The stuff they've teased is certainly very interesting, certainly very new for a companion, certainly. I think we'll have some interesting character dynamics and repercussions on the Doctor, certainly. I feel like I'm missing something. I sort of put together all of the things I wanted to talk about in a bit of a hurry for this live stream because there's so much to cover. Oh yeah, there was also this actually. Whilst I'm here, we've got some new photos for Doctor Who Unleashed. That are for the behind the scenes of the Giggle. It also shows Shooty Gatwa there as well. Let me see if I can find the TV Zone article on that. Hold on. 1 second. Yeah, sorry, like I said, I put all together all of my contents for this quite quickly, so apologies if it's taking me a second to just find some of the other things I wanted to talk about because they escaped my mind. Oh, also, it was confirmed that there was going to be a 15th Doctor Church on Ruby Road novelisation, and I think that's coming out in January. That was said in Doctor Who magazine as well. So, might as well say that while we're here. Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, the Giggle first look images from Doctor Who Unleashed. I don't think I've covered these before. Brand new images from Doctor Who Unleashed with the Giggle. So we've got this here clapperboard with the Toymaker, Neil Patrick Harris. We've got host Stefan Powell with a bunch of microphones and brand new Doctor Ncuti Gatwa. It's mad to think that he'll be the Doctor this Saturday. Mental to think, but we're finally seeing it. This behind-the-scenes shot at the unit base with director Chanya Button, who very interestingly, I think had an injury prior to filming, and I think she spoke about having to like adapt to direct it, but she still managed to direct it, which was very cool. And apparently the Bad Ball team were very accommodating, which is fun. And then yeah, the Doctor looking absolutely fantastic there. Stefan Powell speaking to Neil Patrick Harris. He seems to be in his aviator outfit that we've seen in the trailers. We've got this behind the scenes shot. Once again, it looks like a unit to me of the Doctor wielding his Sonic very happily. Another one of Stefan Powell and Neil Patrick Harris kind of having a laugh in the interview. And David Tennant speaking to Stefan Powell. David Tennant, I must say, in all these behind the scenes things, he looks like he's having the absolute time of his life, which is lovely to see. And then we get this picture of Stooky Bill, who is the puppet that is first broadcast on TV as part of this episode, and we assume that's going to be part of the Toymaker's plan. So, yeah, those are all those behind-the-scenes images. There's a couple of other bits of behind-the-scenes material. Honestly, there's been so much stuff. There's been a lot of stuff coming out these last few episodes that I really wanted to talk about. There's a clip from the podcast, I think, where Russell T Davies talks about how fans' expectations for the 60th were going to be like, oh, yeah, William Hartnell riding on a Garm, but we decided not to do that. Harbo Worm said that Wild Blue Yonder is a mess. I have to disagree with that. Could you double check the Fortnite stuff there? Honestly, I'm not too sure where to double check that, because it's not been officially announced yet. I liked the idea of the salt thing. I wonder how that pay off. Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe that that'll be how they defeat the Toymaker or something like that. How is David Tennant already almost finished as the Doctor? I know, it's mad, isn't it? Thanks for reading my comment, Dog. Was a shout out to my daughter. Oh, I see. Sorry, I got very confused. Theories, were you disappointed with Wild Blue Yonder? Absolutely not. If anything, I felt that it benefited from not having a bunch of cameos in it. I thought it was the strongest so far. So yeah, I personally really enjoyed it. I was like a 9 out of 10 for me. It was like really, really good Doctor Who. Very Midnight-esque. I very much enjoyed it. I plan on doing a full review of that at some point in the future. I'm not sure when, but that is something I want to do. It's very much something I plan on doing. Also, yeah, actually, there's another thing I wanted to hold on. Oh yeah, we also got this lovely picture in DDM of Ncuti Gatwa hanging out the TARDIS, which looks absolutely fantastic. What a man! He looks absolutely incredible. I did consider putting this on the thumbnail, but it wasn't quite high res enough, so I just sort of used a random Giggle image for this. That was another thing I wanted to talk about as well. Yeah, there's been so much stuff. Oh, that's another thing. I forgot about that. Oh God, sorry. Where was it? Okay. I think it was it Production News who said it first? The cast list for the Giggle was confirmed, and it showed a very familiar face to long-time Doctor Who fans. Let me find it. A certain news anchor by the name of Trinity Wiles. So for those of you who don't know, Trinity Wiles was the American news broadcaster for RTD1, and it seems like she's making a comeback for RTD2. Let me find it. Nope. Where is it? I swear they were the first to post it. Were they? Maybe I've missed. But yeah, it was confirmed. A cast list confirmed. Trinity Wales return, which was very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to that. That's when you know Doctor Who is getting serious, when Trinity Wales pops up. Let me find it. Trinity Wales. Ooh. Aha, yeah. So here we go.
I've got money.
Oh, we've got a super chat.
Yes, you
look who did that quickly before we get into that. Thank you to Thomas Jerome for the what is that? CLP. CLP. How does that? What does that mean? What does that mean? Am I being silly? I was told there will be goblins galore. There will be at the Christmas special, definitely, and singing goblins at that. That's £2. Well, thank you for the £2 super chat. I wasn't sure what that meant. Yeah. So what was I talking about? Yeah, Trinity Wells. You can tell I'm a bit out of practice with live streaming. The Noble family returns in the Giggle and Trinity Wells. So yeah, there's also an interesting note here as well, which I'll read. So Tim Hudson is Edward Lord Bridges. Nicholas Briggs, who voices the Daleks, Cyberman, Jadoon, a whole manner of others, voices Vlinks. The Vlinks. We don't know what the Vlinks is, but we know it's part of the Giggle. Lachelle Carl is Trinity Wells. Leigh Lethian, voice of Stooky Bill, Carl Collins, Sean Temple, Jacqueline King, Sylvia Noble, Yasmin Finney, Rose Noble. So we will also be reuniting with the Noble clan from the Star Beast, which I'm very happy about. Particularly, I have to say, I thought Jacqueline King as Sylvia was a highlight of the Star Beast to me, so I'm very happy she's making it back in. And obviously, if you look, very closely at certain images, a certain Melanie Bush might be in the episode as well. So very, very exciting stuff. I do slightly worry about them balancing all of this, but I'm hoping they manage it. Fingers crossed. I mean, I think the episode runs slightly longer than previous ones, only by like a few minutes, but I do think it runs longer. Oh yeah, I didn't cover that spin-off from ages ago. Also, yeah, Christopher Eccleston posed with the Big Issue with Shooty Gatwa on the front. As far as I understand it, I didn't know much about the Big Issue before, like, the last few weeks, but apparently it's like a charity thing as well, so it's really nice to see him supporting this and supporting our brand new Doctor. That's nice to see. Just thought I'd highlight that. Yeah, so another interesting thing. We had some more filming from Series 15. I know, there's been so much going on. New Doctor companion Millie Gibson joins co-star Jonah Hua King on set in Wales as they film Alien Invasion for next year's festive special. So what's interesting about this is, if I remember correctly, there was like some New Year's signs in this. So there's been speculation that we might be seeing the return of the New Year's special, possibly alongside the Christmas special. So yeah, this is Millie Gibson with the Jonah's character, who we've seen via other filming, seems to be the romantic love interest for Ruby Sunday, and that very much gives that vibe in this. You can see they're holding hands, so yeah, definitely a sort of love interest thing. Earlier this month, fans were treated to a surprise glimpse of Shooty and Millie, marketed at the 60th anniversary with an epic new trailer. And then yeah, we also get to see Kate Stewart there. I can't remember her name now. Gemma Redgrave, that's it. We get to see Gemma Redgrave here. Another shot of those two. And then we get this very interesting shot of an alien. Now, this is a brand new alien. I've not seen this guy before. No idea what he is. He kind of looks like quite veiny. He kind of gives like the hoiks. Oh yeah, we also see let me go back. Let me go back. Daily Mail. This is why I don't use the Daily Mail. Oh, it's gone too far back now. Yeah, unit helicopter actually in motion, which yeah we've seen in 60th promo images, is a real helicopter, which is very cool. Yeah, we can see the alien being taken away. We can also see the mask here as well. I'm assuming this is just part of rehearsals. Let me see if I'm going to get a closer shot of the mask. We can also see, if you look there, behind Kate Stewart is Ruth Manley's character, Shirley Ann Bingham. So it seems like she is the replacement for Osgood, which I'm very happy about because I kind of prefer Shirley Ann Bingham so far. And this also seems to be the Colonel Ibrahim who we see in the 60th Giggle teaser as well. If I go back here, let me find it. Yeah, I think this is the same guy. So that looks. So this kind of adds credence to the idea that unit characters will be reoccurring. Maybe, you know, like I say, maybe it adds credence to a unit spin-off. Yeah, we got Gemma Redgrave and Reese Bentley here as Kate Stewart and Shirley Ann Bingham, respectively. Units seem to be a very big presence. Here, we get to see the monster masks themselves, and you kind of see there's like it's kind of it's sort of like Hoyks-esque, but it's kind of its own thing as well. Giant red eyes, big antlers. I'm loving how practical this new era is. That's one thing I loved about the hands in Blue Yonder. They were all done practically. They weren't done by, well, some of it was obviously done by CGI, but those hands weren't, which I really liked. And then, yeah, more pictures of them. And then we've got Ruth Madley next to an unknown actor and character. I'm not sure who this is yet. Unit truck, same picture again, and then, yeah, I think we've seen pretty much all of them. So yeah, interesting stuff. I have a theory that I don't think Unit are fully good in this new era. I don't think Unit are fully on the Doctor's side, because you get that line in the Star Beast where Shirley Ann Bingham goes, "Oh, but we're on the same side, Doctor," and the Doctor goes, "Oh, well, are we?" So I'm not convinced that Unit are fully kosher in this new era, and we also get that scene at the start of the Giggle preview where Unit says, "Doctor, you're under our control now." Now, obviously, could be due to the Toymaker's influence, but I reckon we might be seeing Unit being a little bit less, a little bit less unambiguously good, and a little bit more morally grey. Just clicked on what are the canon changes. We went over that earlier. It's just stuff that RTD said. That there's basically going to be a controversial thing in the Giggle, and he will unravel a whole new mythology in the commentary tracks. So we don't really know fully what it is, but we can sort of speculate. Big issue is Cherry for Homeless Living on the Streets. Yeah, I thought it was that, which is very good. Also could be a coincidence, but in both the Star Beast and Blue Yonder, the Doctor and Donna are separated by a glass wall, which looks very similar. Yes, I think that's very much deliberate. I also think, this is another thing I thought, at the end of Blue Yonder, there's the Doctor asks Donna if she remembers what's been happening to him in the last few years, when she was the Dr. Donna, and she looks all sort of evasive. So I think she does remember, and I think she's lying. And I think we'll find that out in the Giggle. I hope so, anyway. I don't think Donna's going to die, though. I think Russell has been teasing us with that, but I don't think it's going to happen. He even teased it recently with, like, he said on Instagram, like, 2 weddings and an O, implying funeral. But I don't think that'll be what this is. I don't think. What was I going to do? There's something else I want to do. And it's gone from my brain. Yeah, you can tell I'm a little bit out of practice. Apologies for that. This has been a very fun stream, though. I'm enjoying myself. Be sure to like the stream if you're enjoying it. Oh yeah, also, Doctor Who filming location said that Shooty will be wearing this yellow vest and tartan kilt outfit during the disco dance floor scene where Ruby first spots him on the Church of Ruby Rowan. Interesting. So this was 2023 reshoots then. Or unless he just reuses a costume, which doesn't seem very likely for this Doctor. Be honest, my favourite costume for Shooty by far is definitely the leather one. I think that's definitely the best. We also had this shot of Shooty while filming. It's another new costume for him, a more kind of checkered jacket, and what I believe is, someone told me what it was called. It's a certain type of certain type of hat. Can't remember what it's called. Someone told me and it's going to annoy me. But yeah, some sort of headwear. Let me see if I can read it in the replies. Someone said what it's called. They don't say what it's called. A durag, I think is what it's called. I think it's called a durag, which is very cool. Brown jacket, blue trousers, white top, white shoes, some kind of headwear. And yeah, it's already been identified what the traders are. So it seems like, at least to me, in the second season of Shooty Gatwa's run, his fashion sense will kind of become more consistent. So yeah, the white shoes are the Grenson sneakers 67, white and yellow. If anyone wants to get those, it looks like his fashion sense will kind of become more consistent. Oh, I didn't show a new subscriber. Who was it? Did it say who it was? I missed it. Because it doesn't actually come on screen for me, but it who was it? I missed. But if you did subscribe, thank you very much. Yeah, so this was it. The Doctor Who production news, not the production news, Doctor Who filming locations, sorry, said that on December 1st, supporting artists were cheering Happy New Year whilst admiring fireworks in this first scene. So possibly we could be seeing maybe a New Year special on top of a Christmas special, which I mean, hey, I wouldn't be against having both. Yeah, very interesting. Because I assumed that with the return of Christmas specials, New Year specials would be become a thing of the past, but I reckon we might be getting both. Because I don't think it'll be a case that Russell would swap out a Christmas special for a New Year special, because I was reading his Radio Times segment over there, and he said one of the things he did was he stormed into the BBC and essentially demanded the return of the Christmas special. So I don't think Russell would let go of that. I think it's more likely we could be seeing both, which is interesting. Yeah, this was also something. On November 30th, a new Doctor Who villain was spotted, seemingly a mechanical robotic kind of suit. A lot of people are comparing it to Hydroflex from Husbands of Earth On, and others have said it looks like the Red Rescue robot from Sarah Jane Adventures. Obviously, this isn't in its full form. I assume it would have some sort of helmet as well. But very interesting. We're getting robots, and we're getting that weird alien creature in season 15. There is also allegedly a series 15 episode that's taking place entirely in studio, or I should say season 2 now, really. But I'm still used to calling it series 15. So that's going to be very interesting. By the way, yes, the ads are annoying. Oh, are they playing a lot? I think it might be YouTube's new automated thing. What I'll do is, for the next stream, I'll see if I can, like, turn them off or turn them down or something. I don't like the idea of Kate becoming a villain, to be honest. I don't know whether it'll be Kate specifically, more so just Unit, although I actually wouldn't be against it, personally. I've always, to be completely honest, I've never been a huge Kate Stewart fan. So I wouldn't mind them doing something different with her. But yeah, kind of reminds me of Baymax with the armor. Yeah, I do see that. Definitely. Good evening all. Are the rooms true, do you think? Sorry, only just joined and missed a lot. I think it's possible that they are, but I want to reserve full judgment until we actually see it. I kind of want to react to that new Harpo video. I'm very curious as to what he said, because I really thought Blue Yonder was good. I wonder what happened to Mr. Smith if someone recovered it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I want the Trickster back. I would love that. I would love that. I would fully be on board for a Trickster return. I feel like I've missed so many things, but I also feel like I've got most of the things I want to talk about. Having two contradictory thoughts at once. Spoken about that. Yeah, there's been some really cool behind the scenes stuff. I think I've covered most of it. It was, yeah, I think I have. Okay, cool. From what I can see, there is Hassan mode. What do you guys think? Would you be interested in watching that or not? I mean, I can. I've got time. Should I enter my Hassan era? I don't want to. No, because I would actually be giving thoughts. I wouldn't just be sat here eating or like leaving to go and do the toilet or something. I'd like stay and watch it. We can do. Have any of you guys seen it? What did you guys think? I don't know. I don't agree with the title on its face, but I don't know. Maybe he could convince me. I'm not sure. He is quite good. So I don't know. If you guys are down, then I'm happy to do that. I know I haven't been around for a while. Series Trend soundtrack? No news on that. Two contradictory thoughts. Thank God Theories is not a no thing. You say that, but sometimes I think my arms are too long. Just came in, did I miss much? Quite a bit, but that's okay because the stream will be exceedingly rare Harbour Airliner. I mean, I do disagree with Harbour on something, but we'll see. We might as well watch it. We might as well. I'll give it a go. Is my desktop audio on? Also, obviously, this is make sure you go watch Harbour's video. Tell him that I sent you if you do comment on it after this stream. Yeah. Let me get it. So it's called A Missed Opportunity, Wild Blue Yonder Review and Analysis, and the thumbnail is It's a Mess. So let's see how much I agree or disagree with that statement. I'll turn it down a little bit, I think.
Before this video begins, I would like to give a quick thank you to my Asbantium level patrons Fallon Cortez and Nathan Gibson. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Okay.
Every now and then, Doctor Who comes out with an episode that tries to push boundaries and experiment more than a college freshman. We've had stories in the land of fiction, episodes in sci single locations, and even an episode with Peter Kay as a giant green alien monster.
We stand the Absorbaloff.
Absorbing Doctor Who fans. And with the latest 60th anniversary special Wild Blue Yonder, it seems as though we've had Doctor Who's newest experimental episode, seeing the 14th Doctor and Donna Noble whisked off to a mysterious spaceship where they come face to face with themselves as villains. It's a story with deep character explorations, existential horror, and some goofy as hell special effects. But is it...
Okay, is that okay. Also, I'm not going to say, because I did see some people say that is like one of the major complaints. I'm going to be honest, it didn't really bother me at all. I kind of accept with Doctor Who, like, there's going to be some stuff that looks a bit wonky.
Good. As always, that's what I'm here to find out. So, as we cross the halfway point of the 14th Doctor era, join me for
that is weird to say, isn't it? The halfway point of the 14th Doctor era, it's been 2 episodes. I mean, I am kind of sad he's leaving as soon as he is, not going to lie, which is something I never thought I'd say.
Deep dive into Wild Blue Yonder.
Auntie Iris, Mummy and Daddy.
In case all the Beep the Meep memes and culture war chaos overshadowed the events of last episode, as the Doctor and Donna entered the brand new TARDIS interior, the latter accidentally threw a coffee over the shiny new console and blew the whole thing up, throwing them into the vast unknown. This episode picks that plot point up as they land in the apple tree of famed physicist Isaac...
so I will say here, this is the weakest scene in the episode. And no, it's not because of all the, they race swapped. I don't care about that. I just thought it didn't really need to be here. And if I could have personally had 5 more minutes with the Doctor and Donna, I probably would have done. I didn't hate this scene. I just didn't really understand the point of it. I mean, I've heard rumors that like Navity is like an ongoing thing in Shooty's era, which fine. But I don't really think it contributed much to this episode, personally.
Newton on the day he came up with the theory of gravity. I guess Jada Pinkett was in charge of casting. This sequence is just meant to be a fun little throwaway gag to show the TARDIS being flung around all of time and space, with some goofy comedy to kick things off and have the main pair do some cheeky
I do get why they did it, because it's a case of like, okay, you don't want to alienate the casuals immediately, so let's like put some comedy at the front. I just don't know whether it was needed, but hey ho.
Humor. It's fine, and I'd definitely take it over the Doctor standing in the expositional void of despair, but it just feels a little bit.
I do get why people hated that as well. I mean, I get why it looks a bit visually goofy, but it did work and at least captured people up, so.
It's too pointless and doesn't really contribute much to the wider episode, apart from a weird bootstrap paradox joke about the word gravity becoming mavity instead. I guess that's just a fact now. Better stick to that, Russell. I'll be watching. If you ever write the word gravity in Doctor Who again, I swear I'll do nothing because I'm just a dumb internet nerd that makes YouTube videos.
Very true. We have
As the episode begins in earnest, the TARDIS yeets itself into a wall and the Doctor and Donna are spat out as the time machine has a bit of indigestion. Spicy.
Is it alright? Is it broken? Is it knackered?
I don't know, Donna. Is it? It looks just fine to me. Jokes aside though, I do like the Doctor's misery as brand new fancy TARDIS being torched into oblivion like this. He's just like, oh man, I only just got it. But don't worry, he just shoves his sonic screwdriver recovery drive in and suddenly everything is fine. Handy that. I actually do like.
But it isn't though. Dun, dun, dun.
Like what Wild Blue Yonder does with the TARDIS. A big issue of a lot of Doctor Who stories is the presence of the time machine itself. After all, if there are monsters and villains chasing you and trying to kill you, can't you just
I did like the fact that they got rid of both the TARDIS and the Sonic. It made the Doctor feel uniquely vulnerable, which is not something you see in many New Who stories, especially these days.
Back into the magical time and space machine to, escape? Well, much like Cold War, this episode makes sure to eliminate the TARDIS entirely via the HADS, a system where the iconic blue box can just peace out to avoid danger. I do appreciate this, eliminating that ability for the Doctor and Donna to just leave and avoid the entire story from happening to begin with. They're physically trapped here, which makes for some genuinely interesting stakes, especially because the sonic screwdriver is also gone, preventing more Magic Wand shenanigans like we've seen so many times before. The HADS plot point also helps to build up the atmosphere of the story, suggesting there's something so terrifying it scared even the TARDIS away, and the main characters must confront that threat in order to get the TARDIS back. It's a great example of building things up and introducing mystery and tension. It's then that the main duo walk into the scariest thing into the universe. Bad green screen. Seriously, what is this? You're telling me they had all those millions of pounds for the episode?
I thought it looked fine. I don't know, maybe my standards are just lower for Doctor Who, I don't know. I thought it looked fine. Sue me. I mean, there's a couple of bits that do look a bit dodgy, but I was more so thinking with, like, the not things, certain CGI there. I thought the corridors looked fine for the most part.
And the best they could come up with was something that looks like Spy Kids. It's so bad. Just look at this horrible scene of the Doctor driving a space buggy down a CGI corridor. It's so awkward. The scale and lighting of this whole corridor is so off, it just doesn't look like it belongs even in 2023 Doctor Who. And sure, this quaint show has never exactly been James Cameron's Avatar, but it has already done better CGI and green screening than this in its own past. So this is a pretty comical step backwards that makes everything look so cheap. Despite the whole cast and crew coming back, this ain't 2008.
1 second, everyone. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone. I just had someone pop in to use the front door, so I had to go check. Apologies for that. Anyway, what were we doing? Oh yeah, Harpo. Yeah, I do kind of agree though. I think someone said it in the chat there that they thought that the stretching made like the uncanniness of the monsters work better. So yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah, if I cut out, it's actually because I'm one of the not things. No. Green screen was pretty okay. Didn't throw me off too much. It plays into the weirdness of the not things. I agree, yeah. Yeah, anyway. Harpo.
anymore, so the effects shouldn't be like this. Russell T Davies admitted that he based the episode on the classic Doctor Who story Underworld, one of the most derided and maligned stories from the original run of the show. This bad reputation mainly stems.
He made it on that? I haven't seen that quote before. I may have just missed it, but I've never seen that quote.
From how green screen heavy it was, almost the entire thing being badly implemented CSO backgrounds and limited practical sets, which looked so bad it kind of overrode any kind of possible narrative quality the episode could have. I guess it's fitting then that while Blue Yonder also has some terrible backgrounds feeling so very out of place. The only practical, physical element of these corridor scenes is the walkway itself, everything else being a green screen, which gives off major Star Wars prequel vibes and not in a fun way. It's such a shame because there are other strong practical sets in.
So far the only critique he's made is just the CGI, and it's that's fine, but I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker for me either way.
Other scenes of the episode looking pretty nice.
I should say that me and Harvo are friends, this isn't a personal thing on him, I'm just curious to see what his take was.
The cockpit looks very sci-fi and well constructed, along with things like the big cooling vents and water tanks making the setting look as realistic as possible.
I agree with that.
For a giant spaceship. The production team even consciously made the buttons and written language reflect equine hooves, given the horse-like pilot of the ship. It's a neat touch and a bit of attention to detail, but I do feel like the spaceship as a whole doesn't exactly fit the horror movie atmosphere the story was aiming for, since it looks too sterile and clean. There's a little bit of rust and signs of disrepair here and there, but it just has the same Apple Store feeling that the TARDIS itself has.
So I disagree with the Apple Store thing in both the TARDIS case and this one. But yeah, that's just a personal thing, I guess.
It's going for a visual direction tone similar to Smile, but it just doesn't work for me. I feel like it would be much better if the design team emphasised the creepy and abandoned nature of the spaceship, as cliche as it could be. Like those dimly lit industrial corridors and dark storage rooms with atmospheric lighting. I'm not even really much of a horror guy, I actually hate most horror media, but the spaceship in this story just feels like it belongs in a completely different episode, especially considering those ominous shots throughout the beginning as something stalks the Doctor and Donna from a distance. It doesn't feel nearly as creepy as it could be, which is very disappointing to me. One thing this episode does really well is all the character elements, since it's a more personal and dialogue-based episode. There's some great comedy throughout as the Doctor and Donna make jokes and share some iconic Tennant Tate banter, which is fun to see, especially because the nature of the Star Beast didn't really allow for this kind of joking around. Some people take issue with the exchange about Isaac Newton being hot, but it's really no big deal.
Yeah, no, this one never bothered me either. We've seen him flirt with, as he says, Captain Jack, so I didn't really get why people were what? The Doctor can men? That's happened before. In Russell's first era, no less. I mean, I wasn't bothered by that at all.
Has made those kind of jokes before, even directly to Captain Jack, so it's just a bit of a joke pointing out more things the Doctor isn't exactly used to saying. But the main success of all these character moments are the more tense and emotional ones, like that fantastic exchange as Donna begs the Doctor to get her home, becoming hysterical at the fear of leaving her family behind.
Honestly, I want to give Harbo the full time. I don't know whether I want to watch the whole video or not, but I haven't seen him say much else other than visually it could be better to justify the mess moniker. But hey, maybe he'll say more. I want to give him the full time to kind of make his point, but at the moment it's kind of a lot of visually it did look great, but then that's about it, I'm not seeing much else. TBH, read the CGI, how people are watching on 65-inch 4K screens. You get taken in by the story, whatever's in the background is just that in the background. Yeah, my got to go, no worries, Rubber Duck Boy, no worries at all. I feel like it is common knowledge that the Doctor is pansexual. Yes. Well, I mean, it's difficult, because sometimes he's asexual, sometimes, pan, and it doesn't really bother me. He's an alien. He's probably tried it on multiple times with all different species. I thought that was just a carryover joke from him being Jodie before. Possibly, but I don't think Jodie liked men either. Did she? Obviously she has, so I don't know. Do you think the Toymaker is behind it all? I think he's behind the Doctor's face. He has to be. Yeah, anyway, what were we doing? The Harbo video. I just hope that there's more criticisms than visually it didn't look great. Because, I don't think that's a deal breaker for me at all.
Really well acted moment, the companion becoming more and more desperate, the pair even having a quick argument. There's genuine tension here, it feels realistic, and it's a great example of how well Russell T Davies can write characters and authentic personal drama. It's nice as the Doctor comforts his emotional companion, a really platonically intimate moment of love and support as he reassures her.
I will get you home.
Their bond has grown so much deeper, especially because of their time apart, and this shines in a few touching moments, especially at the end where 14 comforts Donna in this silent embrace, much like the end of Midnight, with no words even needed. It's so well written on a character level. Another standout character moment is the brilliant scene of Donna realising how far from home she really is, and wondering just how long her family would wait for her.
I wonder how long they'll wait.
The thing is, I know
Catherine
I'm saying,
Tate
like,
again
yeah,
puts
I
in
agree a lot, but I honestly agree with most of these points, so I'm just waiting for the bit where I don't agree.
A fabulous performance as Donna feels the bittersweet emotions of leaving her life behind so suddenly and unwillingly. She can perfectly predict how her family will react, and you can tell it's killing her inside. The idea of never seeing them again and eventually being forgotten. Just another person lost to the void that is the Doctor. There's an intriguing mystery as the Doctor and Donna explore this derelict spaceship, trying to find out exactly where they are and why the ship is abandoned. It's an interesting setup, this lack of life signs and the chilling unexplained opening and closing of an airlock 3 years earlier, implying some sort of cosmic horror incident happened to precipitate all of these events. It's a decent mystery, giving the protagonist more of a reason to explore the ship and uncover its secrets, but it does feel a little bit drawn out and padded. The atmosphere didn't quite grab me as much as I'd have hoped. It takes a little bit too long to get going. Instead,
See, I
spent...
disagree. I thought the build-up was pretty good. One of my issues with the previous episode was how the pacing felt so breakneck and non-stop. I actually quite liked the quieter moments towards the beginning of this episode where you'll kind of just have like some quieter scenes of them exploring the ship. I quite liked that. And I thought it was paced probably a lot better than the last episode. And yeah, kind of circumvented that problem that New Who can sometimes have, in my opinion, of being like, oh, and we're at the end. It's very quick. I liked that this felt like there was more of a build-up.
Time having the Doctor lick mysterious liquids off a stencil, although I do like the cheeky prank as he pretends to die. That's fun, and another good example of the pair just hanging out and having a great time. They also meet a rusting, slow-moving, discount Marvin the paranoid android they affectionately dubbed Jimbo. He's just kind of chilling, although he really wants to smash that like and subscribe button, and so should you. Just saying.
Hello, Jimbo.
Yes, you should subscribe to Meet an Object.
As the Doctor and Donna make their way to the cockpit, they discover exactly what's happened to this derelict ship, which externally actually looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I love that shot as well. That shot looks fantastic.
Yes, that's where all the budget went. 3 years earlier, it fell through a wormhole and ended up at the physical edge of the universe, something incomprehensible to our tiny human brains, although we did actually see the edges of 2 universes back in Survivors of the Flux. I absolutely adore this setting, such a chilling concept, somewhere so remote you can't even see the faintest glimmer of a star or a galaxy. There's just nothing, which is beautifully chilling through and through. It's played perfectly straight with some real seriousness and a sense of existential terror.
He hasn't mentioned the not things yet, so I'm going to assume that's where his criticisms come in. I'm going to assume.
At the oppressive void around them, with amazing acting, writing, visual direction and music. They're trapped here with no way out, and the visual is
Murray Gold's score was chef's kiss. Love that.
Fantastic, the ship's cockpit just pointing at absolutely nothing. It's like standing at the edge of the world, if it was flat of course. Nobody knows what's beyond, nobody has ever been this far. It's completely uncharted territory, which really appeals to my love of cosmic horror and the unknown hiding in the expanse of the universe. Of course, there's not much you can physically do with a setting like this, but it is an excellent backdrop here, a suitably terrifying place for an almost supernatural doppelganger storyline.
Physically unprotected. Right on the edge.
Yes, let's talk about the no things.
Okay.
The Doctor and Donna split up to fiddle with the ship's mechanics to get it back online, and it's here that we get our first sign of danger. I think it's absolutely brilliantly chilling as the Doctor seemingly walks back into the room with Donna, but you can immediately tell something's off about him as he just sits there staring at Donna as she talks. It's really well done, especially when we cut back to the reverse in the other room. Donna also acting all creepy. It's such a good way to build tension with this idea of dramatic irony, us as the viewer knowing what the characters themselves don't. The music doesn't overdo the moment, it doesn't start getting all overly sinister and scary to spell it out for you. It lets the weirdness breathe as you try and work out if you've missed something, making you doubt yourself in a nice way.
Driving home, it took me until Donna came back in to realise that like something was up when she says, "I did what you asked," and like there was no sass or elaboration. I was like, that's not Donna.
the uncanniness of these duplicates. I think it's quite a chilling and distinctive line as the No-Things simply say their arms are too long. It's a very sinister and memorable bit of dialogue, but I feel like it's ruined by this moment.
My arm's too long. Look.
No, I thought the arms looked great. The practical effect was really good, I thought.
Did somebody say long arms?
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to introduce terrifying doppelganger villains, the absolute worst way to do that is for them to immediately have a goofy giant arm. Like, it's cool it's a practical effect, sure, but it looks so out of place, and it feels more like a joke than the horror sting the music.
I don't know, I thought it balanced the tone quite well of looking ridiculous but also quite scary. I thought it worked quite well. In a similar way to how Daleks don't look scary, but like the writing and kind of the way they're shot and the way the Doctor reacts to them is what makes them scary. You know what I'm saying? It's similar with this.
Implies. It's so silly and then becomes even funnier when the Doctor doubles it up with even bigger arms. And this is my biggest criticism of the episode. The villains just aren't scary, to me. They're clearly meant to be horrifying, but it just doesn't land.
Correct me if I'm wrong though, but the idea of them being scary is less on a physical level and more on like the psychological level. Like, we're meant to see them as scary because of the effect that they have on the Doctor and Donna emotionally, rather than just visually, I think. I mean, I could be wrong, and I mean, you know, like, you could argue that maybe they weren't as scary as they possibly like could have been, but I don't know. Absurdist horror. Yeah, exactly. I liked the concept a lot. Matt Smith, not so much probably would have been... Wait, what's this about? The arms were funny, horrifying for me. I can see it being scary for a kid. Yeah, exactly. The thing is, we as fully grown adults might not see it as scary, but like, you know, that's Doctor Who being silly, shocking. Yeah, kind of. I don't think it's too silly. It's pretty horrific to me because they feed off your thinking. Yeah, I think that's meant to be the scary thing about them, isn't it? Less so than the body changing stuff.
It reminds me more of the gangers in the Rebel Flesh, and that's not exactly a good thing, because those effects were just as bad, and that was over 10 years ago, so it's strange that the No-Things don't look any better than that. Flatline did this kind of concept so much better in my opinion, having all these morphing and uncanny vibes, but done in a genuinely creepy way, but here it's more unintentionally comedic. Like, how are you meant to be scared of this? Even kids probably don't find this super scary. It's evident that the intention was it to be a level of PG body horror, so sure they couldn't exactly John Carpenter this, but it just looks way too comical for me to feel any semblance of fear.
I just couldn't keep it together. You are so amazing.
I will concede that on an acting level, the No-Things are incredible. Tennant and Tate playing them is genuinely sinister and gleefully evil. You can tell they're having a great time. But once you introduce villains like these with BFG arms and giant slack jaws, you've kind of made it impossible to genuinely fear them later on. It cranks up to...
I think you fear them though because of the fact that if they win, like, the Doctor and Donna are genuinely screwed. It's less how they look visually, you know?
11 way too soon, and Taints what are brilliant conceptual villains. Like, just look at this awful set piece of them crawling after the Doctor and Donna with Snapchat filter faces. It's just so bad. And hey, before you comment, I get it. Doctor Who has always had more camp than an 80s slasher movie, but even by Doctor Who standards, this is so goofy and badly done. Russell T Davies wanted to make it an episode as scary as Midnight, you know, my favourite Doctor Who episode. And this shows as the No-Things come across as the love child of the Midnight Entity and the Boneless, but the way they're handled just doesn't achieve the success of either monster. I genuinely love the idea of the No-Things, these manipulative entities able to steal other people's identities and memories. That's an excellent concept for Doctor Who and something that has indeed worked for the franchise multiple times with lots of psychological horror, but sometimes less is more, and we don't get that here. The moment we get the body morphing campiness, it becomes a muddled mess, basically just a repeat of the Rebel Flesh.
I feel like I'm not going to say it's disingenuous, but I feel like just because the Ganger two-parter had like weird body stuff, it doesn't mean that they're the same. I'd say on a character level, this is significantly better, and even on a story level, on a tension level, and like just like a lot of the scenes. And I mean, I like the Smith era, you guys know that, but I've never been a big fan of that story. I would say Blue Yonder is significantly better.
A lot of people defend the visuals of the No Things by saying they're meant to be weird and goofy to create an uncanny vibe, or to serve as a commentary on AI image generation, but I just don't think it's that deep considering the weak CGI of the spaceship interior. I think it was just a misstep. Like, come on. Just look at Crab walking David Tennant and tell me that's
I will
actually
say that doesn't look great, but
scarier than it is comedic. It all emphasises how this episode doesn't seem to know whether to be a terrifying Silence in the Library style horror story, or a fun and comical schlockfest like a Unicorn on the...
I think it balances the tones quite well, personally. I don't know what you guys think in the chat, but I think it balances it quite well.
Wasp. It's so unbelievably messy, and I couldn't get into it because the tone...
I think messy is the wrong word for it. I would say a better word would just be, I guess, like, if you wanted to say it was tonally inconsistent, I might not agree, but I get it. Messy seems a bit harsh to me, I don't know.
Kept shifting so ridiculously. Like, 1 second you get Mr. Fantastic and Violet Parr inflating into a congealed blob of CGI, and then the next you have the Doctor and Donna walking down creepy dark corridors as if it's a terrifying horror movie. It just clashes with itself, rather ironically not being sure of its own identity and getting in its own way, which majorly drags it down as a horror story, especially when I personally grew up with some simple yet truly terrifying villains in the first Davis era. So it feels like a step backwards, a disappointing visual direction for some amazing monsters. You know, it's the age old saying, less is more. Since Wild Blue Yonder is part of the 60th anniversary trilogy, I do feel like they could have used the Not Thing concept as a bit of a cheeky excuse to slip in a cameo or two of previous Doctors. I know Davis explained he wanted it to be the most simple and normal episode of the specials, without finding William Hartnell cryogenically frozen in the basement, but it could have at least been a short little visual reference.
See, the thing is, I do think if you'd have had, like, the Not Things turn into, like, Matt Smith or something, you'd have lost a lot of the character weight with that. I think it doesn't really feel necessary to the plot for me.
As the Doctor tries to reconfigure his face or something, similar to some of the hologram moments in Power of the Doctor. I don't know, it could have just been a cute little moment paying homage to the past. It doesn't make or break the episode. I don't care too much that there wasn't anything there. I wasn't expecting anything. It just would have been a nice touch. Anyway, I think the best uses of the No Things are when the episode does the traditional doppelganger storyline of tricks and deception as the villains try to manipulate the protagonists when they're split up. We get that stellar scene as it seems like the Doctor and Donna
So
have
my
been...
criticism is just the visuals look a bit goofy. Is kind of what I'm getting from this.
Reunited, only for this to again be a dueling scene.
I don't think that really takes the episode down into being a mess for me.
It's much like the Not Thing's first appearance. This time, however, it ups the ante by having us just as lost as the characters, because we can't believe or trust any of them. We've lost track of who is who through some editing trickery, which is absolutely brilliant storytelling, taking advantage of the concept. We have the usual tests of integrity, and there's no way for us to know. So it's great to see, and it even gives us a bit of a look into Donna's backstory, thanks to a humorous anecdote about her birth.
So, I arrived in Southampton, which allowed my mother to say I was a problem from the day I was born.
However, these scenes are most notable for how they explore the Doctor, something the episode excels at in general. To start with, I like the moment of the Doctor wondering where the TARDIS has gone, suggesting this fantasy scenario where it becomes this big mythical monument that becomes the foundation of a...
Yeah, I'm not really, like, I don't know about you guys, but, like, unless there's, like, another major criticism I'm missing, I don't know whether that justifies it being dreadful. Well, not dreadful, but, like, a mess, you know? I'm sorry, if I saw these creatures, I would run. I mean, if they turned into me and they started, like, bending their arms and like, knees and stuff, I would run, yeah. The third episode will be multi-doctor confirmed. Doogie Howser MD shows up. I mean, that's the thing. Technically, if you look at it, it is a multi-doctor, because in the first story we have the Doctor and the Dr. Donna. Second story we have the Doppelganger Doctor. The third story we'll have Shooty Gatwood. So technically all three are multi-doctor when you look at it like that. This take that Wild Blue Yonder should have had a cameo is something I really don't get. It's a great tight character piece with Dr. Donna. Why do we need a cheap cameo to kill the atmosphere of the story? I agree with that wholeheartedly.
giant city, standing there as eternity passes by. It's a wonderful speech that makes you visualize an actual time lapse almost, seeing exactly what the Doctor is describing. There's a subtle hint of the track This Is Gallifrey tucked in there, which is one of my favourite series.
I love the little musical cues in this. I think Murray does an incredible job.
And it works so well here to underline that eternal nature of the TARDIS, how it stands as a monument to infinity and can stand untouched as an entire civilization rises and falls around it. It's an excellent example of painting a picture with words.
She's the only thing I've got left.
Indeed, this story delves into the Doctor's character a bit, exploring the aftermath of the 13th Doctor era and all the trauma she suffered throughout her life, reminding you that
really liked the way they did this. As I said in my video on Russell tackling this, I wasn't a big fan of the Time Child Flux, but I thought it was handled really well here.
This is the same Time Lord, and those issues are still present even with a new face. Now, I know the Timeless Child was a very controversial addition to the lore of the show, and I'm no more of a fan of it than you, but it's there now, it exists. It can't just be ignored like the half-human thing in the TV movie, it's far more significant than that. So I appreciate how the Not Donna talks to the Doctor about the truth of his origins, how he wasn't born in Gallifrey. It's a significant part of the Doctor's identity now, and I like how this moment addresses both that and the flux from Series 13. Something that destroyed half the universe because of the Doctor. 14 comes across as so genuinely traumatized and guilt-ridden here, it's amazing.
A creation which I
agree with all of that.
devastated.
Is there anything else? Is there anything?
Moment out too long, they resolve it pretty quickly, and I think that's the justification.
I want to get to the conclusion. Like, what's the overall thesis on it?
Had a lot going on. With a big scale cinematic narrative, the Giggle will also have. Therefore, you can't help but feel like Wild Blue Yonder feels a little bit out of place sandwiched between these two epic climactic specials. The character work it does is phenomenal. I really love how we explore both the Doctor and Donna, with some great callbacks to the 13th Doctor's trauma, and Catherine Tate has a standout performance in both her roles. It's just a shame that the episode kind of buckles under the expectation of being a special, rather than a regular episode of the series. The concept of the not things is truly fantastic. I
don't really think in order for something to be a special, it needs to be like highly different conceptually to the main show. I think it just needs to be like a good story, and I mean, obviously David Tennant and Catherine Tate, that's what makes them specials, you know.
Genuinely dark scenes as the villains taunt and manipulate the main duo, but they feel a little bit too shallow to be a big special episode villain. You know, it feels like the villain concept doesn't really work for the length of the story. Their effects work is also...
I think it works.
So goofy and off-putting, and not in an unsettling way like the production team clearly intended. It's also really dated. I mean, you know, here's an unrelated clip from Rose in 2005. So the attempts of the episode to be a horror narrative,
say they look anywhere near the same as Rose,
just aren't really able to succeed in my opinion. The visual direction of the episode also suffers, with a lot of bad green screening that would have been more fitting of early New Who. You know, here's another unrelated clip from End of the World. The spaceship corridor really needed more practical effects to match the other rooms, instead of having so much CGI. I also felt like the sound mixing was pretty terrible, an issue I've seen other people mention, so it wasn't just me.
I've seen people mention that. I've never had that issue, personally.
As controversial as it might be, I think I might give the Wild Blue Yonder a high C on the special.
Damn, below the Snowmen and End of Time is insane, and on the same level as the next Doctor, nah. Last Christmas in S. Okay, I'm gonna stop watching this now. Again, no hate to Harbour at all. I just, other than it visually not always looking the best, I'm not really sure what else the major issues are here. He doesn't like the Donna fake-out death. What's the reason he doesn't like the Donna fake-out death? I think the most base thing RTD could have done was just flip a random isolated adventure into the 60th, and he did. Brilliant. Yeah, I kind of agree. We've got RTD back with his most popular actors. We've got classic TV villain and classic comic monsters that's never 60th. Not to mention, we are getting other cameos, I think, in the Giggle. I think Mel's probably going to be in it. Yeah, what was his reason for not liking the Donna fake out? Was it just that it was predictable that it wasn't going to happen? Like, I'm not sure. Again, no hate to Harvo at all. I just don't really think I agreed. That's fine. That's one of those things. It was interesting to watch, though, certainly. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap up. Oh, I'm just live. Oh yeah, you saw the stream. That's okay. You're okay. You're fine. I think I'm gonna wrap up. I will see you all very soon. It seems like I'm wanted, so I will see you all very soon. Take care. Subscribe if you do. See you very soon. It's funny actually. It's funny that she came in because I've been getting my mum into Doctor Who for the first time, which is pretty cool. Also, the TARDIS sliding and the not Donna out. I thought that was fine. Paraphrasing, but I believe Harlow said he couldn't suspend his disbelief. Found it too drawn out as he knew Donna wouldn't die. I don't know. I thought she could have died and we'd have had the fake Donna. But yeah. Bye everyone. Bye bye.